You have two borderline elite point guards, Derek White and Holiday. Let them handle the ball. Let Brown, Porzingis, and Tatum set picks for each other, run around, get open, and then get the ball.
Welcome back to the Old Bull and Young Calf Boston Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Matt. I'm here with my dad, Steve. Thanks for taking the time to listen to our podcast again this week. We're on week 13. We have some, fun little segments for you. My dad's going to touch on those 5. What do we got for him, Dad?
So we've taken a long enough break from the Patriots. Matt and I are glutton for punishment, so we're going to get back into them and discuss their mid-season intervention we're going to give them on their bye week. It looks like we're going to get our big wish, but there are some pros and cons to that. So we get a few of them we're going to discuss and go over. And then on number 2 is our Boston Celtics return to form. That's right. After a 2-game mini slump, uh, they are back. Some big wins, and the biggest one this season was last night against the 76ers, shorthanded. So we're going to touch on that and go over some of the things that we saw. Then number 3, of course, we have to talk about our Bruins. They remain on fire, and we're going to do a recap of them, look at their upcoming games coming up, and discuss, everything that's going right for them and a couple things that are going right that are driving me crazy. So, me, I got to put a negative spin on every Bruins take just about. I will try to get over that someday. Number 4, our basement bets. See how our expert did last week and who he has this week. And then number 5, we're taking a little break from the 90-50-10 segment. And what we're going to do this week is a little Celtics/NBA Jeopardy. My son, he's the creative one here. He came up with some
Yeah.
intriguing questions for me, and let's see how the old bull does. So start us off, Matt.
Yep. Number 1, those Patriots and their mid-season intervention. So my dad and I have had this kind of wish upon a star for Bill Belichick to make his exit, and with every week it feels closer and closer. This week, according to Dan Orlovsky, right? He's a ESPN pundit. And I don't really like ESPN, but they do have their sources, and he's been pretty big on Mac Jones. He's been pretty tapped into the Patriots. I think he really believed in the Patriots, just like we did at the start of the season. He came out and said that it's pretty much a done deal from what he's heard that Belichick is going to be the GM or coach with another team next season. That is what we want. And my dad has some pros and cons that he's thought about, and I think they're pretty solid. So, Dad, let's say Belichick goes. What are some pros and what are the cons to that as a Patriots fan?
Yeah, so I was doing some thinking, and I wanted him gone immediately, right? I figured that would help them tank, not having him here. But with all the reports coming out, and after doing some thinking, there are two pros that I came up with for him staying for the full season. Two pros for him staying for the whole season too. So, the first one is a pro of keeping him through the whole year, and that is the ability to trade him. Reports came out that he signed an extension, so he is actually under contract with the Patriots for next year. And after looking what the Saints got for Sean Payton, why not keep him, right?
Yep.
Belichick, I would hope you'd get at least a first round pick. I guess the Broncos gave up a first and second round pick for Peyton in the third. I
Yep.
would think you'd get, but I mean, hey, I'm not selfish. I'm not greedy. I would take a high second round pick for Belichick at this stage. And, that's nothing to
Yeah.
shake a stick at. So, that's one of the pros of keeping him around.
Yep. And I think you said high second round. I'd take a 6th round pick. I you know something, right? I mean, you don't want to lose them for nothing. So yeah, we got the first for Doc Rivers. Remember back in the day when we sent the Clippers? It's almost becoming a precedent. So that's, yeah. Fingers crossed. We can trade him because he's turning out to be a pretty good tank commander, right? We lost to so many bad teams. Like, he's not Belichick in his way into wins, which is actually kind of surprising. Now, what's that other pro for keeping him, Dad?
I mean, I'm gonna first of all, I'm gonna push back. A six rounder is not worth keeping him around because I feel like the two cons of keeping him for the full year, they're legit and they could,
Yeah,
come
well, you'll
back and
get to
bite us.
those. You'll
So,
get to those. You'll get to those.
all right, I'll get to him. All right, I'm teasing it. So, the other pro to keeping him is, you know, what happens almost every single time mid-season and bring in a new guy, whether it's hockey, basketball, baseball, even football. There's that new coach surge, right? And I can almost picture if they were to fire Belichick and made Mayo the coach, the players rallying around Mayo, and then you get the possible worst case scenario. They go out and beat a team like the Chiefs or something, his first game coaching. Like that would be an absolute nightmare. So, by keeping him around, you keep the locker room a little disgruntled because right now nobody's happy in Foxborough, and you avoid that new coach surge that would absolutely
Yep.
horrify me because team usually runs through a wall for the new guy and comes out with a win.
Yep. Antonio Pierce and the Raiders right now, they've two games in a row they've won. So yeah, we don't want any of that business over here. We do not want to be 5 and I'm sorry, 4-7 or 4-8 or whatever. So yeah, now what about those cons? What about those cons?
Yeah, yeah. The cons, he's still Bill Belichick, right? And you know, he's no longer the mastermind we thought, but that doesn't make him a bad coach. He's still a good coach. And, one of the cons of keeping around for the full season, he's probably going to sneak out another win or two that he should not have gotten. And that's going to hurt our draft status. That's going to hurt all of that crap. He's still Bill Belichick, and he's still smarter than most of the coaches in this league. And, he's probably going to take advantage of that at some point this season.
Yeah, and I think the Bills, that game we beat the Bills was kind of the product of that. So yeah,
Yep.
I I totally agree. Now what's the other one, Dad?
The other con is, you know how Belichick has preached forever doing what's best for the team? Well, does a disgruntled Belichick who knows he's getting pushed out the door at the end of the year, does he start doing what's worse for the team? I mean, clearly at this point it's a lost season. What's best for the team is playing the young guys, not just to see if they can perform, but to get them needed experience for next year. That means not playing necessarily the best guy at the position because a guy is, you know, 30-year veteran, 30 years old, he's a veteran, he's on his last year of his contract. Is he better than the 22-year-old kid? Probably. But what the heck good is that does that guy who's cash what does he do? He doesn't
Yep.
do anything. Time to play the kids, and again, like the quarterbacks. We have four quarterbacks on the roster, right? Mac completely broken, destroyed. He's gone. Zappy, like the talent of Matt with a broken leg. Then you have Will Greer, uh, a journeyman. I don't want to call him a bum. He's just a backup quarterback. No future there. The only guy that has any type of upside, as much of a long shot as it is Cunningham. Again, like it's a lost season. Why are we not just playing him the rest of the year? He guarantees us losses probably. And, what if we hit lightning in a bottle and he does turn out to be a poor man's Lamar Jackson by the end of the year? Yeah,
Yep.
it'll probably suck because we'll get a couple of wins we didn't expect. But I mean, if the kid flashes like he did that little taste he gave us in the preseason, I mean, I don't see what the downside is of that. So does he do what's best for the team, or does he do what's worse for the team because he's grumpy old man who knows he's out the door?
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think every win matters to him for a lot more reasons than what the fan thinks, right? The wins are for the record, and I would love to see Cunningham in there. I would love to see Booty out there more. I would love to see Pop Douglas out there more. Um, I don't think Bill is going to do that, and it's it's pretty frustrating. I'd like to see Greer out there. I'd like to see Zappy. I'd like to see Cunningham. Somebody that's not Mac. I feel like Mac is the safest option to get us 2 or 3 more wins. I know he's broken. I know he sucks, but he does have flashes, right? But I think we've unpacked that present enough. We know what it is as an organization. So I don't want to see him out on the field for another snap. It was disgusting. I was actually laughing. It was like watching a comedy show this past weekend because he like that interception, like falling backwards was horrendous. I mean, he almost had another interception
Man,
earlier.
I was cheering like it was a Patriots playoff touchdown when he threw that interception. I was
Yeah,
cheering. I'm like, yes,
yeah,
Jersey just saved our season.
yeah,
Yes, good job, Mac.
yeah.
Good
No,
job.
I was cracking up. It was pretty much pure misery. I think I don't know if this will come through on my phone, but I sent ha 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 in all caps to my friend Tyler, and he's like, I'm not even watching. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, Mac Jones just another horrendous interception. And at what point is it enough with the whole it was one bad throw? Because it's just constant bad rookie decisions, um, and now they're talking about him possibly going to the Browns. You know what would have been great is if we had a GM that was looking ahead in the future and tried to trade him before the trade deadline and got a third or fourth or second round pick from the Browns. But instead, we got him here. Maybe we can offload him in the offseason to the Browns for something, but we'll see.
I mean, it would have been nice. And, I mean, his stock is really tanked now after the last couple of games. At least at the trade deadline, he probably would have had a little bit of value and got you maybe a third or fourth round
Yep.
pick, like you said. You might be right there. It's a good point. But yeah, that ship has sailed. You ain't getting jack for him.
Yeah. So,
No.
so yeah, Dad, thanks for kind of, and it's a perspective, right? We got to look at things from, outside the box and not just like fire Belichick, like what are we sacrificing there? Now, I have a question for you. Do you have a team in mind that you think Belichick will end up in? Do you have a prediction?
I mean, I'm not going to go with I mean, the rumors are easy, right? There's rumors he's going to the Redskins. Um, I thought there was a rumors of another team.
Yeah,
Where Tampa Bay actually. I mean, talk about, you know, ironic, I guess. He
poetic,
goes to
right?
Tampa Bay like
And
Brady did.
and we
Yeah.
wins the
Give me a
championship.
break. No, how about he just completely destroys that franchise? That
Yeah,
would really
yeah,
be like
yeah,
something else. So, um, I mean, where I think he should go is a team that just is loaded with talent, but just doesn't have it coaching wise. Probably the Chargers.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I mean,
I,
they're pretty good. They have a lot of talent. They just can't put it together, and let them go there and destroy that racket, I guess.
yeah, yeah. And I think one thing I saw on Reddit today was Belichick's going to go to a team with uh, good offense, but a very underperforming defense, and he's going to succeed. And I think the Chargers are perfect there. I think they have a good offense, underperforming defense, and maybe that's his destination. And I would love to have the Chargers second round pick next year. So cross my fingers, right?
Mm, I would
Um,
too. Yes,
yeah.
sir.
So I mean, it took a lot out of me. I kept my food down, and we talked about the Patriots. Any other final comments on the Patriots, Dad?
Now let's move on from those bums. Talk about
Yeah.
the heroes of the city. Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Celtics and
And
Bruins. Let's do it.
yeah, Celtics and Bruins. Now, the Celtics have been on quite a bit of a winning streak here. So this is segment number 2, by the way. They're on a 4-game win streak. They went through the Raptors, the Knicks, the 76ers, and the Nets. The Nets were actually last Friday, first in-season tournament. And pretty much all 4 of these games, it felt like they were, you know, in the driver's seat, and their bench showed up. I was super excited about the Svi guy. Banton, I'll gotta give the old Bulls flowers. He talked about Banton in place of Pritchard. Now Pritchard has come around. He was huge in that Nets game. He showed up. He kind of broke out of his slump, but Banton to me in that 76ers game really popped off the screen. Once he came into the game, he was in every single play. He did make a couple boneheaded things, missing a bunny layup, air ball into three, but
No,
but on his
yeah.
way back, he stole the ball, right? So super excited to see Banton out there. I think he was like a +8 in his 8 minutes. Um, yeah. Any thoughts on those 4 games, Dad? Since we've been away.
Yeah. And that kid affected the game in other positive ways too. He's long, so he's not a liability. Pritchard is a defensive liability, and he gets targeted. I mean, it's pretty obvious. He's scrappy, does what he can, but Bannon's long. He fit right in with the other long defenders that the Celtics generally have. So, I mean, hopefully we see more run from him. But it's a shame because those 2 games they lost, they really were like, they just played
They're so
garbage. They
close.
played
So close.
terrible. And we still almost won those 2 games on the road against 2 of the better teams in the league. We could absolutely be undefeated right now, but they're turning out to be everything that we thought they were. They're like the anti-Patriots, right? The Patriots made us look so bad because you and I had some
Oh
positive
yes.
predictions about them. But before I too hard on ourselves, a lot of people thought the Patriots are going to be pretty good this year with O'Brien coming in. And even the most negative Patriots people were at least thinking that they would be around 500, maybe a little below it. No one thought they were going to be this bad. So I'm not going to be too hard on us for them making us look like complete clowns with our prediction. So far, every prediction we've had with the Celtics, if you go back to our earlier episodes, has come absolutely true. Last night, unbelievable win. No Porzingis, no Brown, back in Philadelphia, hostile environment against the best team in the league,
Yep.
according to the record at the time. And we just whooped them pretty good. And
Yep.
again, my big take for the Celtics on the season, I'm going to keep popping, especially as long as I'm right, because everyone likes to be right. I said, you watch, they're going to look so much better in the last 4 minutes of these close games. And once again, last night, they went from a close game to beating them by 10 points because they just execute down the stretch. And oh God, not to keep harping on, the 4 guys who were here before, love them, miss them, but not miss them on the basketball court, not miss them on my team. I love this team. And again, it's just been terrific. So, what has your take been on this little run?
Yeah, and I'm of course I'm super excited about it. And you mentioned those last few minutes, and it feels like we have a much we're slowing the game down in those last few minutes, these last 4 games, and specifically Derek White and Scal alluded to this on the broadcast. I don't know if you get NBC Sports down there, but Scal talked about the action at the end of the game for like the last 10 minutes. They basically were giving White the ball and having him get to his right and make split second decisions because that's what Derek White is so amazing at, and that's why he's so much better than Marcus Smart. And the important part of the season is that Derek White is playing crunch time minutes when last season there was that high, that drama, right? Do you take Smart out, put Derek White in? Everybody wanted Derek White in, but Smart was smart. Now we see the Buffalo. We let him roam in the fourth, and he brings us to the promised land. Super excited about that. Going through, and Missoula ball is in full swing right now. The Celtics had 52 three attempts in the Nets to 37, so they were plus 15 in 3 attempts against the Nets. That kind of is tough because the Nets don't really have a great interior defense. Claxton was out. You would have liked to see him drive a little bit more, but they shot the 3 a ton against the Nets. The Nets were lights out from 3. I don't know if you remember that game, but those guys couldn't
Yeah.
miss. It was driving me insane. That Leon Walker was ripping us. The Raptors, we were plus 7 in 3 attempts. We had 44. I think that's going to be our lowest here. And they have Pirtle, they have Siakam, they have an OG, so I get it. The Knicks, we were 43 plus 8 on the Knicks, and of course we beat them pretty handily. And the big one was last game, and a lot of 76ers fans are pretty frustrated by the way Nurse is coaching that team because we had 53 3 attempts. And that really spreads out the 76ers and exposes Joel Embiid, right? Because he can't guard that 3-point line. And that's why it's so important that Al Horford hits them, because it was 50 to 30. The 76ers only had 33s. Pretty sure most of the Celtics starting lineup attempted, everyone in the Celtics starting lineup attempted 8 or more threes. Only one 76er player attempted 7. The next was 6. Next was 5. And a lot of 76ers fans were very, very upset about that. I took some time to go on the 76ers fan pages and just kind of enjoy the tears of the 76ers fans
Oh,
as they
drink
went,
them.
as they went absolutely nuts.
Yes! Yes! Oh, let me taste your tears, Scott. Your tears are so yummy and sweet.
Dude, I think it might be best for us to never piss Cartman off again.
Good call. Oh, the tears of unfathomable sadness. Yummy.
This one guy said the day Al Horford retires from the NBA will be my Christmas. F that Elmer Fudd looking A and his annoying family. Yeah.
I
Another
love it.
another guy starting
Oh.
says Horford smells. So I don't understand how Embiid lets a 100-year-old clamp him defensively and cook him offensively. Big shout out to Al Horford.
I love it.
And you mentioned that game early in
Uh,
the season. Al Horford stunk. He was 1 for 6 from 3, minus 24. He
yeah.
showed up in this game. He blew a kiss. It was pretty big. So yeah, man, it was a good 4 games. I'm excited for the next 4. Any other thoughts on those games, Dad?
Yeah, the thing was too, we we had some wide open threes that we missed. Let me tell you, Tatum and Hauser were brutal for the first 3 quarters of that game shooting for. If they even forget about shooting like 40%, if they shot like 30%, we probably would have won that game by 20 points. So, the formula is starting to work, but you know, Tatum is still taking it to the hoop more. He's still posting up more. We didn't have Porzingis. So it feels like Missoula is compromising a little bit. The threes are still high, but you know what? You brought something up, Matt, earlier too, that how crazy is it? How insane is it that we had Derek White on the damn bench in the last 5 minutes last year for
Yep.
almost every close game? How insane is that to
Yep.
keep Marcus Smart on the floor? Like, holy cow, to keep him and Brogdon, or Brogdon would be on the bench and White would be out. Like, get out of here with that crap. Like, thank
Yep.
God that is gone. Again, Marcus, love what you did for my grandson, but I mean, I just knew it. I'm like, I can't wait to see the
Yep.
last 4 minutes with Derek White and Drew Holiday running the show. And I knew it was going to be a million times better, and it has been so far. Knock on
Yep.
wood.
Yeah, I think it's kind of Marcus Smart kind of suffers from the same thing that Cam Newton did. I don't know if you remember when we cut Cam Newton and he was, came out. He said, I would have been a backup. I would have been a great backup. And he's like, but the reality is that Mac couldn't handle my ego behind him, right? And
Yeah.
that's kind of what Marcus Smart like. And I'm not saying Derek White couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
I think Missoula couldn't handle the pressure of putting Marcus Smart on the bench. So I'm really glad Brad Stevens made that decision for him by getting him out of there. So yeah, let's
That's a
go.
great
Yeah,
comparison, Matt.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
that comparison. You're right. It's exactly it. It's like Cam Newton's shadow was over Mac, and it just wasn't good. And Marcus Smart, because he was the senior guy,
yep.
his shadow just hung over. And Tatum and Brown. It's like, and to the point where, and we're sitting Derek White, just
I know you're gonna have a
balls,
nightmare about that later.
giant. Oh my God! Like his shaved head looks like a giant one testicle, like giant. Like those two things are down there too. Giant testicle, Derek White.
Buffalo soldier in the heart of America.
The moment's never too big for him.
Yeah,
We were sitting that damn guy in the last 3 to 5 minutes of the fourth quarter in close games. I'm
it's a
so
shame.
glad that is over with. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes. But I want to ask you one question. Could I ask you
Sure.
one more selfish question?
Sure.
Would you, I mean, because another one of our predictions that you and I did about the Celtics coming to fruition, 60 plus wins without even big minutes. Now we're sitting guys and we're winning. Would you consider out of our 5 big stars, just sitting one of them every night, like a rotation?
Would
Every
I?
night, Eric one night, well, Drew Holiday one night, Tatum one night, Brown, Porzingis, and just do like a rotation. That'll keep them all around 65 games so they can make their all NBA thing if they don't miss any more. And again, that's another few games off
Yeah.
off the gas tank, saving
I.
gas, you know, and then go into the playoffs fresh. Hopefully they get a sweep, at least a sweep, and then maybe a 5-game series in round 2.
Yeah.
And it's all about being fresh. So would you consider that sitting one guy every night?
The
Little
only
rotation.
guy I'd consider that with is Porzingis, and then it needs to just not even be considered, but happen with Horford, and maybe Drew. But
I'm
I
not
feel
even
like
putting Horford in there. I'm not even
Horford
putting Horford.
needs
I
to,
just
right?
feel like they
Yeah.
should they should
Yeah.
keep him at a back-to-back and keep him at 20 minutes, 20,
Yeah.
25 minutes. He'll be fine. He'll be fresh. I'm talking about the big 5.
I think
One of them every night.
you're just not gonna be able to do it, Dark White. He was the only Celtic that I would like to do that. I don't see it happening because Derek White was an Iron Man last season, played every single game. Also, Tatum is Tatum, and Brown is, of course, he wants his. So yeah, I think Porzingis is the only guy. I would love for Porzingis to miss the next game. I would love for that. I hope he misses the next 2 games, to be honest. Something I would consider, but I just don't see it happening.
All right. I mean, I want the
Yeah,
chemistry built, but I am hyper focused on being healthy for the playoffs and being rested because I
totally
feel
agree.
like that is it. It'll be done.
Yep.
Band 18 will be here for the Celtics, but we'll see.
Yep. So, uh, yeah, man, I feel much better about that segment. That segment felt good, a big, good pick me up. If only we had another team that was scorching hot and doing amazing, because I would love to talk about them. Do you know if we have any other teams like that? We can maybe do for the third segment.
Bruins, that was good.
Well, the
Carry it.
Bruins. I'm glad you brought up the Bruins because again, like we are looking for that next hot team, and I want to keep. I'm at the buffet right now. We had our vegetables in the beginning, and now we're getting to the good stuff. So the lobsters and the claws and everything. So the Bruins, right? I know you've been watching the Bruins a lot. I've been watching the Bruins occasionally when I can, keeping up the box score. Anything you want to go over with the past week or so of them staying hot?
Yeah, they had a lapse against the Canadians. They were not good. Um, I don't know. That was weird. They just didn't get up for that game. And, I mean, the atmosphere is crazy there, right? Those people, they're like the Celtics fans in the playoffs. They're just constantly. So, you know, I get the Canadians. They treated it like it was Game 7 of the Stanley Cup, but still, like that was an ugly game. I don't know what the hell was going on with the Bruins that night. But from what I understand, uh, Jim Montgomery, the coach, wasn't happy about it either. I guess he did nothing but skate them on suicides or something like that. Kind of wake them up a little bit, and it worked. They bounced back, a couple more impressive wins, and I guess you can probably do stuff like that now that you got a couple old guys like you know Bergeron and Krejci gone. You probably get away with stuff like that. You probably couldn't have done that when they were here. Um, Really, the only guy left that can say anything now is
Marchand.
Marchand, and
Yeah.
he's the captain, so he's supposed to play ball. Um, I just, I don't know. I Last year just terrifies me, right? And now they're just as good as last year. I mean, so far, you know, but the scoring's been up a little, but you can't really count that. They played against
Oh, come
Buffalo.
on. No, no, no. You can't do that. You can't do that. They're
Buffalo is so
3.4
bad.
goals per game. You're gonna fault them
They
for
are
scoring
creeping
five.
up.
You're gonna fault them for
They
scoring
are
5 goals.
creeping up.
Listen, listen. I know my buddy Tim. If he's listening right now, he's shaking his head because it's just nothing's good for you. You can't That's how you
No,
get.
it is good.
No,
It
no.
is good. But
3.4 goals a game.
what
That's
they are doing
higher
is driving me nuts.
than the Panthers. 2 goals
Higher.
higher than the Panthers. Again, there you go.
And you know what? But what I don't like is they're screwing around with Patra now. And I hate it because the scoring's up a tick. So it looks like it's working, but long run, I don't think that's best. I feel like we should stick with having 2 scoring lines, not trying to make 3 scoring lines. Keep Patras in the top 6. Keep him with those guys. I mean, you got Danton Heinen with him. Come on with that. Danton Heinen, get that freaking relic, that friggin' mummy, put him back in the bandages and bury him. Get him away from my future
Hey,
star center.
he
Stop it. Danton freaking Heinen. Oh
He's
my
the
God.
he's
Like
the same age as Elizabeth, so don't call him too old, okay? He's 28 right now, so
I but is he that young? I mean, I don't know. It just feels like he was on the Bruins like a million years ago, and he was never good. He was
yeah,
an okay fourth liner,
yep,
and put talent around that kid. He hasn't done anything to be demoted, and he's basically been demoted to the third line. I
yeah,
don't like that, but it's been working, and it's like, whoa, hey, why tinker with it? Well, because I feel like it could have long term ramifications. I
yep.
want get him chemistry with two good wingers. For when
Yep.
playoff time comes, they're humming. His line is humming. And then you
Yeah.
have three, your other scoring line, stick with that. And that's my only beef. But man, they
Yeah.
are awesome right now.
No, I think you hit it. Like, if you look at Patra's stats in the last 4 games, he has 1 point in the last 4 games. He has 3 shots in the last 4 games. That's not even remotely like that's an anomaly compared to his games up to this point. So no, I think you hit the nail on the head. It is strange what they're doing. I don't know what Montgomery's doing, and this is kind of the negative part of doing well is that you start to be safer, right? It's you want to keep winning so you take less risks, right? Like it's not like you can throw caution to the wind, said, who cares? We're just gonna suck anyways, right? We can just give Potter a ton of time. It's almost like he's scaling back to be safer, even though Potter's kind of what got us there. And it is disappointing because he's the first. Whenever I'm watching the game cast and I'm looking for his name and I'm like, man, he's not showing up almost at all, and it's really strange because I felt like he was a big part of our team up to a certain point. And I mean, at this point, we've lost a year of that contract. So it's like, why are you not
Yeah.
using him more? He's here, whether you like it or not. So it's kind of weird that after he's locked in, his role is almost diminished at game over game. I mean, his only point in the last 4 games was in that slaughter of Buffalo. Um, Outside of that, there was 11 goals in the 3 games prior, and he had no points apart. And he was not a part of that at all. So pretty disappointing. And I didn't even notice that, but you're right.
What are we worried about? Are we worried about like not breaking our record from last year? Like we don't need to do that.
Yep.
I don't care if we take some lumps in the regular season. Lowry, keep him up here. Again, rumblings that he's gone when Grzelcyk gets back. Like, okay, I guess they're saying people think he's been struggling lately. I haven't seen that. He actually had a great play on the first goal. He made that first goal against Buffalo the other night, play he had at the blue line. All right, so if we lose an extra 2 or 3 games because Lowry sticks up here and Patra is on the first 2 lines, and because of their lack of experience, we lose an extra 2 or 3 regular season games. Who the heck cares? Get them the experience they need. So when the playoffs get here, they're as prepared for them as possible.
Yep.
I don't want Patras buried on the third line with no talent. And then you got to keep switching wingers with him on the third line so he doesn't build anything. Get him more on the power play. Get him more involved. If you have trouble scoring in the playoffs and then you try to give him a bigger offensive role, it'll be no good by then because
Yep.
you had him with bum wingers all year and you didn't have him on the power play. You have him on the second power play unit where they get the last 30 seconds. Whoopie doo.
Yep.
No, get that kid more involved. Keep Lowry up here. Get Carlo out of here. My third segment in a row.
Hey, his
Get
first goal
that
last game. Yep.
stiff out of here.
Hey,
Yeah,
and
big freaking deal.
and any Bruins fan anyone who's a Bruins fan in the last 15 years, I think everybody remembers our biggest success as a team outside of I forget what one was the Blue Jackets year. I'm sorry, the Blues when we lost. Is when we had rookies or very young players playing a lot of minutes and playing meaningful minutes in the playoffs. Like Sagan and Marchand in 2011 were a big part of that run. Then Krug, popped in. Krug was a huge. Remember his first few games in the playoffs. Of course, we kind of called him up, but getting those young guys prepped and ready for the playoffs and that energy and speed, I think is incredibly important. So you're right. It would suck to see Lowry go down there, especially. I mean, if anything, I feel like that's how you damage someone's mental, right? You bring him up, and he's short leash and he's gone. It's like you kind of got to let those guys feel a little comfortable. So I'd be pretty disappointed. Pretty disappointed about that myself too.
I like that point. Like he's played well enough to stay. Like, what do you do to his confidence if you send him back down? Then he's gonna be like, "Damn, I played pretty well. What the heck else do I got to do to stay with the big club?"
Yep.
And he's just not going to see things down in the AHL that he sees in the NHL. He has to be prepared for that speed, that physicality. He's
Yep.
not getting that in the AHL. He's just not. It's just not the same. I'm sorry. I
Yep.
mean, whoa, you get more playing time, more ice time. No, it's okay if his ice minutes are a little lower with the big club because he's on the third pairing, but he's been playing with McAvoy. That's okay. He's getting the experience he needs.
Yep.
That's what's important. And it's another good point. Crew came out like he was shot out of a gun, and he was awesome. McAvoy, when he came up for that first playoff run, was awesome. Those young legs. Veterans. They give it everything they have in the playoffs, but they're veterans, they're old, their legs get heavy, and sometimes young rookies and young players can stand out in the playoffs just because of that, because
Yep.
they're just younger, and their bodies can take a little more. But
Yep.
what good is it if they don't have the experience? Then they're going to make the mistakes in the big moments in the playoffs instead of making them now. Let them make them now.
Completely agree. Completely agree. So yeah, Bruins keep it up. There's kind of a you kind of beat them up, even though they're doing so well. But yeah, hopefully over the next week we see some more wins in that in hockey. So any other?
And keep dangling that Omar carrot.
Yeah.
Hopefully the someone just calls and gives you an offer you can't refuse, and hey, I mean, I was shooting for a good top six forward. Maybe we get a first line forward. I don't know. Someone gets desperate enough, they feel like they're just a goalie away, and they give us like another Brad Marchand type player. I mean, you're not going to get a Pasternak, but a pasta, but
I mean,
maybe
do you
someone
see
like that.
Edmonton? You see Edmonton with I know of course the salaries wouldn't work out, but Draisaitl and McDavid are just absolutely horrible right now. I mean, they're not horrible, but the team itself is horrible, and they're talking about blowing it up. They fired their coach. Oh man, that'd be amazing to
Yes.
get one of those guys over here.
Oh
That's
man,
we're dreaming, but
Draisaitl.
yeah, dreaming,
I
but
know.
yeah.
Man,
um,
if you can get Draisaitl, I don't think it's not just not going to work. Not even for Omar. I mean,
no,
I don't
no,
even know if Swayman and low rye even gets that done. But I not even no. We
yeah,
don't have draft capital. That's kind of a pipe dream. But I mean, they have other good
yeah,
who's their third best forward?
yeah.
You
That's true.
know,
Well,
Send him over here.
so Draisaitl's got this year and next year in his contract. Then he's an unrestricted free agent. So maybe a young guy in exchange low rye, like you said, uh, is we'll see, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So Bruins, those are our Bruins thoughts. So I'm super excited about them and the Celtics. I'm glad they're giving us a lot to talk about. I know if anything, we were pretty low on the Bruins coming into the season, and then we've rethought it. My dad had a come to Swayman moment, and
I
he
had
kind
the
of
epiphany
yeah
before the season
yeah,
started. I'm like,
and I
wait a
agreed,
minute,
and it was really good.
yeah.
So we can move on to number 4. So our betting expert did have a rough week last week. He lost his lock. I think it was that field goal at the end. He took the -3 on the Lions over the Chargers, and I think the tie goes to the bookie, right? So I don't think he won that one. Um, this week he does have one lock for us. Dad, do you have anything to say about anything or?
He was on. I was keeping up with it. He was on the verge of winning. He was on the verge of going 3-1, and then just late fourth quarter scores just kind of went against him. So unfortunately, he had a rough week. He went 1-2-1. So but hey, the week before that he was 3-1. The week before that he was 3-2, and then I think 2 weeks before that he was 4-0. So hey, we're all entitled to a bad week. So yeah, he's only given us, I guess, one lock of the week this week. So you got to feel good about that. So I don't know who you got, Anthony.
Yeah, take it away. All right, so there's our lock of the week. If he's got one, as he's probably got a big bet on it, so I would hammer that bet, make some money this weekend. Personally, I can't do it. My son and my buddy Jesse and I went to the Celtics game, and the guys in front of us had some sort of prop bets going on, and they were Celtics fans, and they were miserable. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, they were yelling at Tatum, they were yelling at Drew. They were trying to win some money, and I'm just like, this seems so stressful. I'm like, the Celtics are up big, everyone's cheering, and you're just mad that this person or that person isn't getting. Drew was going for that triple double at the end, and one of the guys needed him to score 2 more points. So every time Drew got the ball, he was passing to Pritchard, passing. So yeah, it's stressful betting. Stressful,
It
but
is.
not.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not stressful when you're betting the lock with WilgsBasementBets. So hit that money on there because it's a guarantee. It's called a lock.
It's not a guarantee. Don't say it.
Bet the house. Bet the house.
One
You
of
heard it here
one
first.
of our 100 viewers will sue us. It's not a
Yeah.
guarantee. Don't say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, was it Vinny? Bet that $50 card on it. Imagine how many you can get for that, Vinny. Bet the house.
The old bull only has so many $50 cards, man. Oh,
Yeah.
I really wish we would get 20 shares so we could do another.
Yeah.
No one's gonna top that video from last week though. That was absolutely classic.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes. All right, so segment number 5. Now, the smartest man born and raised in Worcester, Massachusetts, is going to take on
Jeopardy! Now entering the studio are today's contestants.
Steve, the old bull. I have 8 questions for him. I'm going to pull them up on the screen for us. Are you ready, old bull, to play some Jeopardy? We got 8 questions, going to be quick time questions. You got to answer them with who is, what is. You understand the rules of Jeopardy?
Yeah, I mean a little bit. And hey, follow along and don't be lying. Okay, see if you do better than me.
Yes.
My viewers, because I highly doubt it. But we'll see.
All right. So, which one would you like to take on first, Dad?
Give me the easy one. Celtics stats 100.
Celtics stats for 100. So, who is the Celtics' second leading scorer right now?
Oh, that would be Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown. Who is Jaylen Brown?
Yeah.
All right.
Woo, cashing checks and snapping necks. I am making bank, bro. Okay,
Yeah.
I am ready for the Catalina wine mixer.
Your brother wants a shot at the Catalina wine mixer.
I'm ready. I'm walking tall. You think you're ready to run with the Bulls? I've been earning and burning, snapping necks and cashing checks.
Screw it. Let's let him do it.
Yeah. There you
That's
go.
it.
And
Bring it on.
now, what do you want next? Which one?
I mean, I'm already up $100, so just send that to me, and I'm good. I'm gonna cash out right now.
Yeah. Who
right.
wants to be a millionaire?
Give me the NBA standings for 100.
All right.
I'm not gonna be that great in these. Let's see. Yes.
Who is the top team in the West and the East? So this should be 2 teams.
Oh, okay. All right. So you did legit Jeopardy here. The $100 ones are supposed to be easy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Good job. All right.
Yeah.
Man. So as of right now, who is the Denver Nuggets and your Boston Celtics?
Who are the Denver Nuggets and Boston Celtics? You got it. All right.
Bang.
So we're
Yes.
up 200 points for the old bull. What are we going next to?
All right. Oh, I'm gonna jump a little. Give me NBA standings for 300.
NBA standings for 300. 3 teams are tied in the East at 7 and 4. Who are they?
Ooh. Okay, it does get challenging here. Oh, so that would be definitely the Heat.
Yep.
Who is the Heat? Who is Indiana's been a surprise. Who is Indiana? Could it be Orlando? I don't think it's the Hawks.
Oh, time's running up. You got 3.
Who is? And then the third one is who is?
You can't stall by just.
Who is Orlando?
No, it's the Bucks, Heat, and Pacers. The Bucks have started to come around a little bit. So Bucks, Heat, and Pacers 7 and 4.
Bucks are 7 and 4.
Bucks
Damn.
and 7 and 4. Yeah. All right. Next
All
up,
right.
what do we got?
Give me Celtics for 200.
Celtics for 200. All right. Who is the leading rebounder for the Celtics right now? Rebounds per game.
Oh, that's. it feels like that's a good one because, Porzingis and Holiday are almost at double digits every game, but I feel like Tatum is averaging somewhere around 8. I'm going to go, who is Jason Tatum?
And the answer? Tatum. Yes. Who is Jason Tatum? He got it. All right, so that's 400 right there. Where are we going to next?
Give me NBA standings for 200.
NBA stands for 200. Who is the worst team in the East and the worst team in the West? So opposite of that 100. A little bit harder.
Oh. Ooh, that's like really hard because I don't pay attention to those scrubs. I know one of them has to be either Detroit. So who is... Oh, I forgot who the other absolute bomb team is. I know Houston's actually turned it on. Who is Memphis and Detroit?
Nailed it. Who are the Grizzlies and the Pistons?
Yes!
Way to go. All right.
Yes!
All right.
The old bull.
All right. So now we're at you feasted on the bottom ones, the easy ones. Let's see if you can get any of these hard ones. Which one next?
All right, give me the Celtics statistics for 300.
300. Saving the hardest for last. Who is second in 3-point percentage for the Celtics?
Oh, so I know that
everyone knows the answer first.
Porzingis is at like 41%. Is anyone shooting better than him? I would say is Hauser. Who is Porzingis?
That is not correct. Who is Derek White? First on the team is actually Hauser with 44.8. He's leading the league. I don't know if he is after the 76ers game, but he was. Derek White is 42.9. Porzingis is 40.8, so you were close. Tatum 39.8. So, a lot of and Brown's 36.4. So yeah.
Okay.
We're pretty hot from 3 right now. So the two big boys.
All right.
Which one are you going to do first?
NBA standings for 400. NBA standings.
All right. Which two teams are tied for the longest win streaks in the NBA right now?
All right. I think I got this one. Who are the Miami Heat and the Houston Rockets?
Dang. I did not expect you to get this one. The Heat and the Rockets.
Yeah!
The Heat actually won tonight. So after I made this board, they won. So technically there's 7 wins, but the old Bulls got it right. So last up, all right? So at this point, you got 400, 600, 1,000. So for 1,400, you ready?
Give it to me.
Who is leading the Celtics in total field goal percentage?
Oh. Total field goal percentage.
So not 3-point, just overall, just field goal percentage.
I feel like that is actually Tatum.
Tatum? Is that your final answer?
I thought he was shooting like 60-something% from 2-point land. So I'm gonna go with Tatum.
Luke Cornett. Oh, I knew I knew you weren't gonna get this one, but once you saw it, 79% from the field. And you know what's crazy is
that's not fair. We should have been like minimum minutes or something. Of course, that bummed it.
He is only doing 2 attempts per game. But I will say this: Porzingis is second at 56.5 at 11 attempts per game.
Okay.
So Tatum is 51. Anyway. Yeah, Tatum's 51.6. So thank you for playing Jeopardy with the old bull and young calf. I think the old bull did pretty good. He couldn't stand with the big dogs once he got up high, but it was
a fun little segment.
Yeah, that's actually Vinny's gonna send you the money.
I take Venmo. Okay, yeah. Send that over.
Sounds
and
good to me.
Any of our other viewers, put in the comments. Don't be lying with your scores. You didn't beat me. All right, be a man, be a woman. Admit it. You did not beat me. Okay, those are hard. So
yeah. Yeah, so we're going to try and just throw in random fun segments here at the end. If we have anything, maybe we'll do it at the front. But anyone has any ideas for segments, if you see something on other podcasts anywhere, let me know. We'll try and craft it and make it our own. So yeah, that's the podcast. About 50 or so minutes. So any final thoughts, Dad?
No, just again a reminder. I mean, we just never come close. 20 shares, we'll do a $50 gift card. But feels like we have a consistent, little audience. It'd be nice to expand it, but we just want you to know we really appreciate, our diehards that have stuck by us,
Yep.
and hopefully getting something out of this, because we certainly are.
Yeah, yeah, and we want to be super interactive. So anything you want to share with us, any hot takes, thoughts, if you think we're an idiot, if you think we're brilliant, especially if you think we're brilliant on any of our points, let us know. We'll bring it up on the podcast. We're not shy. So yeah, I hope everybody has a good rest of their day, or evening, week. And yeah, good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Oh, I don't know, where to begin. We are North America.